people who were missing as a child.
What happened? When I was 7, I went missing for 6 hours and it changed my entire family.
It was just a normal Tuesday in October. My school was doing this huge fire drill because some parent complained about safety stuff. All the sirens went off and we lined up like we always did. Same routine we'd done a million times, but this time was different.
While everyone was filing out, this woman in a blue jacket grabbed my shoulder.
She had one of those visitor badges that said emergency personnel.
And she told me there was a gas leak in the building.
She said I needed to come with her right away for my safety. I was 7. When an adult tells you to do something, you do it. She walked me past the playground, through the side gate where parents usually picked us up, and straight to this old white van parked on the street.
That's when I knew something was wrong. But by then, we were already at the van, and this guy was opening the door. The woman pushed me inside and climbed in after me. The man started driving immediately.
They told me my parents had been in a car accident, and I was going to stay with my grandma for a while. I kept asking which grandma where we were going if my parents were okay. The woman just kept saying, "Everything's fine, sweetie," but her voice was shaking.
We drove for what felt like forever.
I remember passing a McDonald's and begging them to stop because I had to pee.
They wouldn't stop. The man kept checking his mirrors every few seconds like someone was following us.
Finally, we pulled into this tiny house way out in the middle of nowhere. No other houses around, just trees everywhere. The woman brought me inside and showed me to this bedroom that was obviously meant for a little kid. It had superhero sheets and toy cars everywhere. That's when I realized they thought I was someone else. The woman kept calling me Danny, even though I told her my name was Kevin. She would cry sometimes and hug me too tight, saying stuff like, "I missed you so much, and mommy's never letting you go again." The man was weird too. He would stare at me during dinner and ask me if I remembered things that never happened, like if I remembered our trip to the zoo or learning to ride my bike in their driveway. When I said no, he'd get this angry look and leave the room. I figured out pretty quick that they had lost a kid named Danny who looked like me. There were pictures of him all over the house. Same blonde hair, same age, even wore glasses like mine.
But Danny was their son who had died in some kind of accident. The woman homeschooled me, but she was terrible at it.
She'd start teaching me math and then just start crying. The man worked during the day, so it was just me and her most of the time. She never let me go outside, except at night in the backyard, and only if I promised not to make noise. I tried running away twice. First time I made it maybe half a mile before the man caught me and dragged me back. Second time I hid in their basement until they found me. After that, they put locks on all the doors that I couldn't reach.
The break came when their dog got out one night.
The woman was chasing it around the yard in her pajamas, crying and calling its name. She forgot to lock the back door.
I slipped out and ran into the woods.
I had no idea where I was going, but I knew I had to get away. I ran until my legs gave out, then walked until I saw lights.
It was this farm about 2 mi away.
The farmer's wife answered the door at like midnight and saw this 7-year-old kid covered in dirt and crying. She brought me inside, gave me hot chocolate, and called the police. The next few hours were chaos.
Police cars, ambulances, my parents crying and hugging me.
Turns out they'd been searching for 6 hours. The school thought I'd gone home with my mom.
My mom thought I was still at school. By the time they figured out I was actually missing, these people had a huge head start.
The couple didn't even try to run when the police showed up at their house. The woman was sitting on the porch holding Danny's picture, just waiting. She kept saying, "I just wanted my baby back," over and over. My parents moved us to a different town after that. New school, new house, new everything. They got me therapy, but honestly, talking about it just made it worse. When I was 7 years old, I went missing for 6 hours.
6 hours that tore a hole through my family and changed the way I looked at the world forever. It started like the most ordinary Tuesday in October. The air was crisp, the leaves were scattered across the playground, and my second grade class was buzzing because we were having a fire drill. At that age, fire drills almost felt like games. Sirens blaring, everyone lining up, teachers shouting directions, kids giggling nervously as we marched outside. We'd done it a dozen times before, but this time was different. As we filed out, a woman in a blue jacket suddenly appeared at my side. She wore one of those bright orange visitor badges that read, "Emergency Personnel." And in the chaos of alarms and shouting, it felt official. She touched my shoulder and leaned down with a reassuring smile. "Sweetie, there's a gas leak in the building.
You need to come with me right now. It's not safe. I was 7. When an adult with authority tells you to do something, you don't question it. I followed her past the playground, out the side gate where parents usually picked us up, and straight toward an old white van parked on the street. My stomach tightened when I saw a man in the driver's seat waiting with the engine running. He jumped out and slid open the side door before I could even think. By the time my brain screamed something's wrong, it was too late. The woman pushed me inside, climbed in after me, and the van sped off. I remember pressing my little hands against the window as the school shrank behind us. My heart was pounding so hard I couldn't breathe. The woman squeezed my shoulder.
Your parents were in an accident, she said softly. You're going to stay with your grandma for a while. Which grandma?
I asked, are my mom and dad okay? She didn't answer directly. She just kept stroking my hair and repeating, everything's fine, sweetie. Everything's fine. But her voice shook like she was about to cry. The man kept his eyes glued to the road, checking the mirrors every few seconds like he expected someone to be following.
We drove for what felt like forever.
I remember passing a McDonald's and begging them to stop because I had to pee. They ignored me. That's when I understood. I wasn't going to my grandma's. I wasn't going anywhere safe. Finally, we pulled up to a small house surrounded by endless trees. No neighbors, no lights, just woods pressing in on every side. The woman took my hand and led me inside. She opened a door to a bedroom already set up for a little boy. Superhero sheets, toy cars scattered across the floor, posters on the wall. For one strange moment, I almost thought they had been expecting me. That's when she called me by a different name. Danny, you're home now. My name's Kevin, I whispered.
But she shook her head, tears filling her eyes. She hugged me so tightly I could barely breathe.
No, Danny. Mommy's never letting you go again. That night, I ate dinner at their table. The man kept staring at me with this unsettling intensity, asking if I remembered things that never happened. Our trip to the zoo, learning to ride a bike in the driveway. Every time I said no, his jaw clenched and he left the room in silence. It didn't take me long to piece it together. They had a son, a boy named Danny. He looked like me, same blonde hair, same glasses, same age. But Danny was gone. Dead from some accident, and these two broken people had decided I was going to replace him. The days blurred together. The woman tried homeschooling me, but she would break down crying in the middle of math problems. She never let me outside, except late at night in the backyard, when I promised not to make noise.
I remember staring at the stars, whispering my real name into the dark, praying someone would hear me. I tried running twice.
The first time, I barely made it half a mile before the man caught me.
He dragged me back, furious, gripping my arm so hard I had bruises for days. The second time, I hid in their basement.
I thought I was clever, but they found me within hours. After that, they installed locks on every door, high up where I couldn't reach. The breakthrough came one night when their dog got out. The woman was chasing it across the yard in her pajamas, sobbing and calling its name. In her panic, she forgot to lock the back door. My heart nearly exploded out of my chest as I slipped inside, barefoot, and ran straight into the woods. I ran until my lungs burned and my legs gave out. Then I stumbled and walked, tripping over roots, branches cutting my arms. I didn't care.
I just kept moving, whispering to myself, "Don't stop.
Don't stop." After what felt like forever, I saw lights, warm yellow lights spilling from the windows of a farmhouse. I banged on the door, tears streaming down my face, begging for help. A farmer's wife opened it, staring in shock at this filthy, trembling 7-year-old on her porch. She wrapped me in a blanket, gave me hot chocolate, and called the police. The next hours were chaos. Sirens, flashing lights, police questions I barely understood. And then, my parents. My mom ran toward me, screaming my name, my dad close behind her. I don't remember much, except their arms crushing me. Both of them sobbing so hard, I thought they'd never let go again. Turns out, I'd only been gone for 6 hours. The school assumed I left with my mom. My mom thought I was still at school. By the time anyone realized I was actually missing, the couple already had a huge head start. When police raided their house, they didn't even try to escape. The man surrendered silently. The woman sat on the porch, holding a picture of Danny, whispering over and over, "I just wanted my baby back." After that, my family moved towns. New house, new school, new everything. My parents put me in therapy, though I hated talking about it. Sometimes it felt like every word I spoke made the nightmare more real. Even now, all these years later, I remember the smell of that old van, the sound of her voice calling me Danny, the look in the man's eyes when I told him I wasn't his son. 6 hours. That's all it was. But it changed everything. Story. My wife went live saying, "Getting a divorce. Time to live my best life before even telling me." I joined the live and commented, "Thanks for the heads up." Then I immediately transferred all my money and assets to a trust in a different country as donation. Her lawyer called me unethically prepared when they realized I, 38 male, was sitting in my home office finishing up quarterly reports when my phone started blowing up like non-stop notifications. My buddy Jerome sent me a link with just, "Bro, you seeing this?" Clicked the link. It was an Instagram live. My wife, Destiny, 35, was sitting in what looked like a spa, cucumber slices and all, talking to her phone. So guys, big announcement. I'm finally doing it. Getting divorced from Roger. I almost dropped my coffee. We'd had our issues, sure, but divorce. First, I'm hearing about it. She continued, "I've been planning this for months. Already got the lawyer. Already know exactly what I'm entitled to. Half of everything plus alimony, because I gave up my influencer career to support his boring corporate job." Quick context. Her influencer career was 1,200 followers and sponsored posts for teeth whitening strips that paid $50 each. She did maybe 3 in 2 years. The beauty is he doesn't even know yet. I'm telling him tomorrow after I file. My lawyer says catching him off guard means he can't hide assets. Smart, right? The comments were wild. Her friend Celeste wrote, "Get that bag, queen." Her sister Brooke added, "About time. He never deserved you." I typed, "Thanks for the heads up." The spa music stopped. She squinted at her screen. "Roger, what are you?" I logged off. Here's the thing about Destiny. She thought she was playing 40 chess, but couldn't even handle checkers. She didn't know that 6 months ago my grandmother passed and left me quite a bit. I hadn't touched it yet, was planning to invest it for our future. The inheritance was never commingled with marital assets, still sitting in a separate account. She also didn't know I'd been researching setting up a charitable trust for underprivileged kids' education. My buddy Anton's an international tax attorney. Within 2 hours of seeing that live, I was in his office. "You want to do what now?" Anton asked. "Donate my inheritance to the education trust we discussed, the one registered in the Cook Islands." That's very generous. Very sudden, too. Just felt inspired. "Can we do it today?" He pulled up the paperwork. "It's irrevocable. You understand? Once it's in the trust for those kids' education, you can't take it back." Perfect. By 6 p.m., $487,000 was irrevocably committed to providing scholarships. I kept the documentation. That evening, Destiny came home like nothing happened. Made dinner, asked about my day, even initiated. Well, you know, the whole time knowing she was filing tomorrow. Ice cold. Update 1. Next morning, she left early for Pilates. I got served at 10:01 a.m. The process server looked apologetic. At 10:47 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. "Mr. Roger, this is Diane Whitfield from Whitfield and Associates. I represent your wife, soon to be ex-wife." "Yes. Well, we need to discuss financial disclosure. We'll need all bank statements, investment accounts, assets." "Sure. I'll have my lawyer send everything over." "You already have representation?" "Yep. Retained them yesterday." Funny timing, right? Silence. "Then I see." "Well, we're requesting an emergency freeze on all accounts to prevent asset dissipation." "No problem. My checking has about $3,000 and savings has $8,000. Freeze away." That's all. Well, there was an inheritance, but I donated that to charity yesterday. Set up an irrevocable trust for underprivileged children's education. Very fulfilling. I can send you the documentation. The silence was deafening. When did you? Yesterday afternoon. Why? She hung up. 20 minutes later, Destiny was calling. I let it go to voicemail. You think you're smart? That was my money too. My lawyer says what you did is fraud. We're going to destroy you in court. Second voicemail. Roger, please call me back. We can work this out. Third, I'm calling the police. This is theft. Fourth, baby, please. I was just upset. We don't have to divorce. The whiplash was incredible. Her mom, Francine, called next. Roger, sweetheart. Destiny's very upset. What's this about you giving away her money? My grandmother's inheritance. That's not marital property. Francine, but you're married. Everything is shared. Funny, that's not what Destiny said on her live stream. She was pretty clear about taking half of everything. Guess she should have been more specific. You watch that? She didn't mean it. You know how she gets. I know exactly how she gets. That's why I'm getting divorced. The calls didn't stop. Destiny, her mom, her sister, her friends, even her Pilates instructor called to tell me I was blocking her chakras with negativity. That evening, Destiny came home with her sister, Brooke. They'd clearly been strategizing. Roger. Brooke started, "What you did was financial abuse. Donating to charity is abuse. You know what you did? You saw the live and moved that money to spite her. I moved my inheritance to help kids get education. The timing is just coincidental." Destiny started crying. Not 2 tears, full theatrical wailing. 8 years. 8 years I supported you. Supported me? I paid for everything. You haven't worked in 3 years. I was building my brand. What brand? Destiny. You posted one makeup tutorial that got 12 views. 7 were from me on different devices trying to support you. Brooke gasped. You're so cruel. She gave you her best years. And now she can give someone else her better years. I'm sure that'll trend. Update 2. Destiny moved out to stay with her mom, but the entitlement that cranked to 11. First, she tried to break into my home office at 2 and 1 a.m. I'd installed cameras after the divorce filing. Anton's suggestion caught her on video, trying to jimmy the window with a butter knife while on the phone, saying he probably has hidden cash in here. I sent the video to my lawyer. He sent it to hers with a note about attempted breaking and entering. Then came the social media campaign. She posted a TikTok that went semi-viral to 150K views. My husband saw I was divorcing him and donated all his money so I get nothing. Is this even legal? The comments were mixed. Why did you announce it on live before telling him, though? Girl, you played yourself. This is why you don't count chickens before they hatch. But also sue him, Queen. That's Marshall property. He's definitely hiding more money. Her friend Celeste started a GoFundMe. Help Destiny rebuild after financial abuse. Goal, $50,000. Raised, $327. The description was wild. My best friend gave up her lucrative career as a content creator to support her husband's dreams. Now he's abandoned her with nothing, donating their life savings out of spite. She's basically homeless. Living with her mom in a 4-bedroom house, but whatever. And can't even afford her weekly spa treatments that are essential for her mental health. But here's where Destiny really messed up. She started dating while still trying to get my money. Posted Instagram stories from expensive dinners with hashtags like new beginnings, upgrade in progress, know your worth. My lawyer loved this. She's claiming she can't afford basic necessities while posting from a steakhouse. Beautiful. Then her new boyfriend Trey got involved. This dude called me. Actually called me. Yo, Roger, this Trey. I'm with Destiny now. Congratulations. Look, man. She says you're hiding money. Just give her what's fair, and we can all move on. Are you part of this divorce now? I'm protecting my girl's interests. Your girl who's still legally married? Not for long. Great. Tell your girl to have her lawyer call my lawyer. Why you gotta be difficult? She deserves half of what? I make $72K a year. After taxes and bills, there's not much left. The inheritance is already donated. What half does she want? Half my Netflix password. You're not getting it. She put in work for 8 years. What work? Trey, name one thing. She maintained the household. We have a cleaning service. I cook. We don't have kids. She gave up her career. What career? He hung up. But Trey wasn't done. This man showed up at my job. Security called me down. Sir, there's a tray here. Says it's about your wife. I came down. Trey was in the lobby looking like he was about to fight someone. You think you're smart? He said, I think I'm at work. What do you want? Destiny deserves better. Then date her better. I'm not stopping you. She deserves money. For what? Participation trophy. Security stepped in when he stepped forward. Sir, you need to leave. As he was escorted out, this isn't over. Narrator, it was in fact about to be over. Update 3. Court day arrived. Destiny showed up in a designer outfit I'd never seen before. Trey was with her, plus her mom, sister, and 3 friends. My side, me and Anton, who came for moral support, not as my lawyer. Her lawyer, Diane, started strong. Your Honor, the defendant clearly dissipated marital assets upon learning of the divorce. Judge Elkins, an older woman who looked like she'd seen everything, reviewed the papers. The inheritance from his grandmother? Yes, Your Honor. The inheritance that was received 6 months ago never commingled with marital funds and maintained in a separate account. Yes, and it was donated to a registered charity for children's education.
The timing is suspicious.
Counselor, is there any evidence the inheritance was marital property? Diane shuffled papers.
The marriage is 8 years old. The wife sacrificed. I didn't ask about sacrifices. I asked if the inheritance was marital property.
No, Your Honor.
Then what's the issue?
He did it out of spite.
He saw my client's announcement. The judge's eyebrows raised. Announcement. My lawyer stood.
We have video evidence of Mrs. Destiny publicly announcing divorce proceedings on social media before notifying my client, discussing strategy to catch him off guard to prevent asset hiding. I'd like to see this. We played the live stream.
The judge's face was stone.
Destiny sunk in her chair. Mrs. Destiny, you announced your divorce on Instagram.
I was emotional, Your Honor. You were at a spa.
Its self-care is important during stressful times. And you discussed a legal strategy publicly.
Diane jumped in.
Your Honor, people vent on social media while getting spa treatments and discussing how to maximize financial gain from divorce.
Silence. The judge continued. Mr. Roger, why did you donate the inheritance?
Your Honor, I'd been planning to set up an education charity in my grandmother's memory.
The timing was coincidental. Quite a coincidence. Yes, Your Honor.
She looked at me for a long moment. And you're prepared to live with this decision?
The donation is irrevocable? Absolutely.
Those kids need education more than I need a savings account.
Your Honor, Destiny stood up. He's lying.
He did it to punish me. Mrs. Destiny, please sit. Even if that were true, which hasn't been proven, he had every right to donate his inheritance. It wasn't marital property, but I'm entitled to what?
What exactly are you entitled to?
Half. I get half of everything of marital assets,
which appears to be approximately $11,000 in checking and savings.
A 2017 Honda Civic in the defendant's name, and a rental apartment.
Destiny's jaw dropped. That's it. Were you under the impression there was more? He makes good money.
$72,000 annually, according to these documents after taxes, rent, and expenses. That doesn't leave much accumulation over 8 years.
This isn't fair.
The judge removed her glasses. Mrs. Destiny, you announced your intention to divorce on social media. You discussed strategy to ambush your husband. You're currently posting pictures from expensive dinners while claiming financial hardship.
What exactly isn't fair? Trey stood up. This whole system is rigged.
Sir, who are you? I'm her boyfriend.
Her current boyfriend, while she's still married.
My lawyer barely contained his smile. Judge Elkins had seen enough. Here's my ruling. The inheritance was separate property legally donated. The marital assets will be divided equally. That's $5,500 each. The Honda remains with Mr. Roger, as it's in his name, and he's been making payments. No alimony will be awarded, as Mrs. Destiny is capable of working, and the marriage was relatively short with no children. Your Honor! Destiny screamed. I can't live on $5,500. Then I suggest you get a job. Case dismissed. The hallway eruption was magnificent.
We're appealing. This judge is obviously biased. Brooke, you can't just give away $500,000.
This is why nobody trusts the system.
Destiny just stood there stunned.
$5,000. $5,500, I corrected. She turned to me, and for the first time in years, I saw the real Destiny. Not the influencer persona, not the victim she played, just a woman who gambled and lost.
You planned this. No, you planned this. I just responded.
I hate you. That's fine.
I'm indifferent to you.
That hit harder than hate would have. Final update.
It's been 3 months.
The divorce is final. Here's where everyone ended up. Destiny moved back with her mom permanently. She tried to restart her influencer career with a series called Starting Over After Narcissistic Abuse. It peaked at 3,000 views when she accidentally
admitted on live that she'd been planning the divorce.
4 months to get paid. Someone screen recorded it. The series ended. Trey dumped her 2 weeks after court when he realized she was actually broke. He's now dating a bartender who, according to Destiny's angry Instagram story, doesn't even have followers.
Diane, her lawyer, sent Destiny a bill for $8,000. Destiny tried to pay with an influence collaboration. Diane declined and sent it to collections.
The GoFundMe got reported for fraud when someone noticed Destiny posting from a cruise.
Turns out Francine paid for it, but still it got taken down.
Brooke actually apologized to me. Ran into her at a coffee shop. She said, I didn't know about the live stream before you. That was messed up. We're not friends, but respect for the honesty. The Education Trust has already provided scholarships for 12 kids. I get update letters. One kid, Marcus, wrote about how he's the first in his family going to college. That letter is worth more than anything destiny could have given me. As for me, I'm good. Peaceful, actually. Living in my apartment, cooking my meals, watching my shows without someone complaining they're too boring. Started taking pottery classes. Random, I know. Met someone there named Helen, who thinks this whole story is insane and refers to Destiny as Spa Girl. Last week, Destiny texted from a new number. I know you're probably never going to forgive me, but I wanted you to know I'm in therapy now working on myself. I realize I messed up. I responded, good for you. Be well, she wrote back. Maybe we could get coffee sometime as friends. I didn't respond. Some bridges once burned should stay ash. Anton, my tax attorney friend, framed the donation receipt. It's in his office under a plaque that says, sometimes the best investment is in karma. To everyone asking if I regret donating that money, nah, it's doing more good educating kids than it ever would have done sitting in an account or being fought over in court. Besides, you can't put a price on the look on Diane's face when she realized there was no money to fight over. That was priceless. Oh, and Destiny's Spa. They canceled her membership for non-payment. Karma's beautiful sometimes. Eddit. Stop asking for the live stream video. It's evidence in closed proceedings now. Also, no, I won't give you Trey's number. Let the man live with his choices. Eddit 2. To those saying I'm heartless, maybe. But after 8 years of being treated like an ATM with a pulse, I'm okay with that. Sometimes the best response to entitlement is consequences.